Oh, ha ha ha. You thought I was gonna do another shitty reaction video. Well, joke's on you. Hey, how's it going? I am Survivor Boy. And you might be wondering, you're not doing another shitty reaction? You're not doing another shitty reaction? What are you gonna do? Well, I'm glad you asked. I'm actually going to give a damn and do an actual fucking final thoughts on this show. Yes, I'm going to actually try my best to actually review it. Probably all 5 of you had a heart attack. Well, I'm gonna give it my best shot anyway, so come along with me. We're gonna have a magical trip. So, the basic gist of Assassination Classroom is kind of exactly what it sounds like. Let's go with this. Let's go to the story actually. In the beginning, there is an octopus that blows up the moon. Already sounds realistic, I know. But when this octopus makes demand to teach middle school students and wants them to kill him before the end of March, already it kinda sounds questionable. People might think he's a pedophile or something. But no, it's just because of a promise he made, which they explain in season 2. And now, it's up to these middle school students to actually try and kill him. And goddamn, it's hard to talk with this on. Give me a moment, I need to breathe. Oh god, fresh air, finally. So the government comes into the school and goes to the degenerates base, which is class 3E, which are basically the bad kids with the low grades and the attitudes, those angsty teenagers that give you all the looks, but they couldn't care less. So, what what do they do? Well, they do what the octopus says, and they supply him with special uh, anti plastic Toys R Us knives and airsoft guns. So already, it sounds fun. It honestly did sound fun. And basically, this is a show which basically goes through all the crazy events they try to do to kill their teacher, which they have named Koro Sensei. Now, what do I think of this show? I honestly think it's a good show. You know, what can you go wrong with this? Well, many things. But first, let's actually talk about the good parts of the show. For one, the story is actually very intriguing. And, you can say that for a lot of shows, but I really was invested with this show and thought, maybe this will actually be good and they won't do like some bullshit thing like, oh, he has a brother. Oh, that'll be ironic soon. And and they have good, and I think I can give the show is the art style. It kind of, when I first saw the show, I thought it was Attack on Titan-esque with the bold outlines on the characters and stuff. And I thought, ooh, that is really nice. Oh my gosh, my hair is showing. But anyways, I thought it was nice. And the other thing I could give it for is the soundtrack. I honestly did like it. I was at the part where they get all serious and tense. I was like, oh boy, shit going down real. And later when they add a certain character to the show, I just love the little jingle too. It's like da 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 da. Oh yeah, it's gonna be an awesome adventure. And I also like how a lot of the characters in the show has in some way, some unique personalities, and you know, where people can actually like them based on what they do and how they act. And I thought it was kind of nice to have a nice diverse cast of like 28 students and such. Though I will say that does come with a problem, which I will get to later. And I have to say, another thing I did like about the show was both voice actings in the English dub and the Japanese sub. Now, obviously, I would prefer Japanese sub because, when I first heard the English sub, it was kind of weird to me in the beginning. It was like, oh, that doesn't sound right. Why does Kuro Sensei sound like he's about to explode in laughter all the time? But as as time went on, I come to, accept it. But with English dubbing, it's not always going to be the greatest, but I did say it was not, it is above average. Not to like, oh god, you should totally listen to it in English dub. More like, if you want to, I would I wouldn't blame you. So, why not? And the way they act. Oh my gosh, I just have to say it right now. Bitch Sensei. Bitch Sensei is probably one of the highlights at the beginning of the show. When they first introduced her, I was thinking, oh wow, how are they gonna screw this one up? But I was pleasantly surprised to see that she wasn't going to be as bad of a character as I thought. And they do give her some nice character development and her relationship with Harasuma, who is basically the guy who's overseeing the assassination. And I have to say, I like their relationship. In the beginning, I thought it was a nice little. Their personalities were so unique and what's the word I'm looking for? Basically, what I'm trying to look for is the opposites attract, and I think they made a nice character duo. So props on you, Lurchy. And another thing, the way they do the way they introduce like some of the bad guys in the show, that's something I'm iffy about, but I thought it was unique. I thought it was kind of nice to see these whole different people who are trying to kill him do their own way and see how they would like use different tactics. Like they would use the students. They would try and get the. They would try and use dirty tactics. All that stuff. I thought it was pretty. I thought it was like pretty. The word I was looking for is James Bond-esque. I mean, come on. It it, it was practically like a James. The villains were technically like the villains you'd probably see in like James Bond films, and if not, they're most likely going to do something like that in James Bond. So, who knows? And I have to say, uh, with all the good parts that I've listed in the show, there's probably more I'm probably not thinking of at the moment. It does come with a few flaws, which is a given to almost every show. No show is perfect. And here's one problem. The huge cast of students that they have. Now, why would this be a problem? Well, I just said that with the unique diversity of their personality, that people would like them. Well, this show did like to go into why some of these students are in here and goes through their backstory. And yes, I'll be saying, oh yeah, it gives them like an in-depth goes in depth to why they're here and why, you know, why these changes of the year will help them grow. You know, good. Well, they don't exactly go through all of the students, and that was a also given, where you have like a cast of 28 students, especially with like characters like Ri, Sue, and Koro Sensei's brother, which I will refer to him as now on because I can't remember his name to save my life. Because they do go into theirs a bit, since they are new kids and they introduce them. They always like go to every single student's thing and everything. Well, if they did that, the show would practically they would have to give each student each episode and what. No, yes, and I think that's what they were trying to avoid. So they tried to, you know, do some for a few students that might have that the writers thought, maybe they will like this character more. And no, I haven't read the manga, and I'm an anime only, so I could be completely wrong at some of these, and you can correct me. But I just thought, with these huge casts, they weren't gonna go through everybody, and so yeah, that was kind of given. And another thing I would have to say, one of the villains, the principal of the school, I don't really know how to classify him as a villain because he was serious in the beginning, and then he started became more and more. How do I say this? Cartoony, I guess. I don't know. He just seems like the kind of who seemed like such a big character in the beginning, and just somehow became a bit more goofy as the show went on. So, and they do give him his own. They do give him like some time to like why he does what he does in Ass Class season 2, so, but with all his noses, he still acts kind of like a goofy villain that you've probably seen in like this villain that you've probably seen like a Kefka kind of thing in Final Fantasy. You know, I kind of see him as a Kefka, and you know that it probably isn't good if I'm comparing it to Kefka, but don't get me wrong, I do enjoy Kefka, but you know if you're gonna do if I am comparing it to Kefka, you might want to consider changing your tactics, sir. Another problem I would give to the show is sometimes how they did the backstories. Now, when they showed the backstories, I was satisfied. Let's go to season 1. We know that Kuro-sensei made a promise to Kaede's sister. Oh yeah, by the way, this is spoilers. This is major spoilers, so, you know, I should probably put that in the title if I remember. But anyways, Kuro-sensei makes a promise to Kaede's sister, and, you know, that was great. They elaborated that in season 1, but don't really go in depth of it until season 2. Oh, my nose is itching. But, that was kind of a problem. Like, oh, why? They only showed like 2 scenes in like the first 3 episodes. No, I want more. Give me more, damn it. And then when they elaborated in season 2, I was like, oh, great. That's fine. And the backstory with Irina, they show like a few clips. I wanted to know more about why she does the things she does. Oh my gosh, it looks like I'm doing an analysis of Heath Ledger's Joker. But, anyways, I wanted to know more. I wanted to learn backstories. And that's why I watch shows. I want to know the story. I want to know the characters, and I want to know why they do the things they do. If you give me let's say, the what's a what's something good. If you give me a choice between a villain who basically Dr. Eggman asks and goes, "Oh, I shall take over the world because I want to have an empire rule under my feet." And a villain who basically goes, "I do it because I'm bored." I will most likely take Dr. Eggman-esque villain instead of landing McFuckface over there because I don't I don't like villains that are basically just doing what they do. And that goes the same thing with good characters, you know. Okay, you're saving the world and you're doing the things you do, but why? Hmm? Why are you doing this? Is it because something bad happened to your family, or was it something in your childhood, or did you like look up to an idol? Oh, I want to be like you know. And they did do something like that with Koro Sensei's student. One student in particular, Reaper. You know, I thought, oh, okay, good. That was very nice. He wanted to get out of his life, and so that was like one of the good characters. That was like what I classify as a good villain. But the characters in general, I wanted to know a bit more backstory. Even if you just give me like let's say the big girl who likes Eva. If you just give me like an explanation, and I know she, and from like why picking her? It's just a good example. I thought it'd be a good example. If you just tell me like she's in this class because she spends most of the time eating than studying, then I would have liked that. But just showing her eating doesn't really uh, give any context as to why she's even in the classroom in the first place. So, and with one of the characters, she's in Terasaka's group, and everyone knows it. And in the end, she became a librarian. How many people actually knew that she wanted to be a librarian? They probably alluded to that in like season one. Like, the only thing I can remember is like when they were at the pool area, and she was just reading a book at the lounge. That may have been something, I guess, but I had to actually go to the Wikipedia and actually find out why the fuck is she a librarian. It says she always wanted to be a librarian, you know, you know, and I didn't know that. I thought they just put her the librarian in the first place. Though she, though they do explain like she does love stories, and again, uh, when they had Cross Sensei's brother and how they were trying to rehabilitate him, whatnot. They she does read him a book, but I didn't get the fact that she wanted to be a librarian. I thought she wanted to be like you know, a horror story writer, kind of like Stephen King and whatnot. I need a, I need at least a one sentence explanation or anything for what they do, and if they do, and, they did show like the pervert Okasama, I don't remember his name. With him, I can understand why he failed. You know, at least they don't go into depth that much, but at least it's understandable. But like characters like with Terasaka Girl and Food Eater, I need to know a little bit more. And in fact, Insect Girl, why is she in there? Why? Did she like break a glass of termites and it just went everywhere, started eating the place, and that's why she was sent to eat? There are some characters I want them to explain, and I guess I don't get everything that I want. Uh, maybe they pull an ass. Maybe they do an ass pull, and we'll get a season 3. No, we're not gonna get a season 3 at this point. Oh boy. At this point, I'm just rambling and probably not even talking about like important scenes of the show. because, you know, I want, I don't want to like do major spoilers. Though I did like spoil like, or like Koro Sensei and Kaide's sister, but I don't want to go into major spoiler territory. Oh, and also the Reaper. Oh god, I'm just a spoiler. But anyways, I don't want to spoil too much because for people who came in, wanting, who actually clicked on my video because I probably did like a clickbaity thumbnail, I just wanted to give out my opinion about all of this. And what do I think of the show? I thought it was, I thought it was a great show. Really, really good. And so, would I recommend this to anybody? Would I recommend Assassination Classroom to anybody? Probably. I would probably recommend this to people who want to go into anime, people who want a new anime show, who wants to like, you know, want something very fun, interesting, with good characters, good stories, decent villains, and overall good time. And so, with that said, I'm probably gonna do more reaction skits about Ace Attorney in my next video. But honestly, I want, I want your, I want your guys, I want your guys' opinion on what I should do next, or what have you thought about this review? Did this review do anything? Did it add absolutely nothing? Should I even do these anymore? Should I go back to the reaction skits? I'm gonna do that for Ace Attorney until that's done. So should I actually do reviews of shows that I've already watched? Should I should I just stop and quit YouTube and kill myself, as the comments will explain, because I'm such a shitty reviewer? But hey, this is my first review, so I don't know. Maybe I'll learn from this and actually, take that experience and just grow. I want to hear from you. So, I guess I'll see you next time when I do my Ace Attorney reaction video. Bye bye!